Hey guys, I thought I'd just quickly show you through our garden and how we recycle and repurpose old containers to maximize our growing space and our harvest. I grow in buckets and pretty much just about anything we can get our hands on that can be recycled. We drill some holes in the bottom and that's good to go. This pot here, it was a great pot. It had a big old tree in it and the tree needed to be moved into a bigger space, so in the process of that, it got this big crack right down the side of the pot, and instead of getting rid of the pot, we thought, why not chuck an eggplant or something in there? And we did. We put an eggplant in there, and it seems to be growing really well. He's got his first little true leaf there, and that pot's fully planted up and recycled. So that was a little win for us because we've got so much growing in that one pot. And if we had just recycled it, we'd be missing out on a lot of yummy veggies. I grow in these little bamboo containers. They're starting to split and weather and stuff like that, but our herbs are loving them, so we're growing in them. I've got these old drawers that were in storage and I wasn't sure what to do with them, and then I thought, you know what, drill some holes in the bottom of that and they can go in the garden. And at the moment I've got tomato and basil seedlings in there, and that's plenty of space for those guys. So that's a really good score too. This is an old mop bucket. We upgraded our mop bucket and this is what we've done with it. We've drilled holes into the bottom. The lettuce that's in there currently is bolting, but that's totally fine because the container is good for growing, and we did beans in that previously, so that's awesome. This baby bath is my favorite. It was underneath the house, it got dropped and it got a big crack down the side of it, but it is housing all of our radishes at the moment. So it's recycled and it's growing lots and lots of little radishes, and that crack just adds to good drainage if you ask me. So that's good for us. You can go pretty much anything in this size tub, so there's no point throwing it out. We'll keep that one going. And then over here we've got this bookshelf. It was a bookshelf. It started to sort of age not very well and it was in storage underneath the house and the paint was all shredding away. So we thought to see it out to the end of its life, we'll just put some dirt in it. And yeah, we're growing Swiss chard. There's a few leeks in there, some more radishes, and everything seems to be growing really well. I don't think it will last much longer than this season, but it is more growing space for the time being. So yeah, I like to grow in containers too because that does maximize space. These pots here, the black ones along the garden bed, they are from our garden department store. Very cheap. They're about $2 to $3 each. I know it's not recycled, but I mean, it does maximize our space. And we're thinking about planting herbs in that little brick fence along the bottom there. For my trellising, I like to use old sticks and things like that I have laying around the garden. I just sort of did like a DIY teepee along the top there and tied it off with some twine, and I've got tomatoes at the bottom. So I'll just stake them up and didn't have to spend anything on trellising. I've got a few of these types of trellises around the garden, and I also love to use these sticks as teepees as well, which I'll show you. So this teepee here, these sticks were all in my yard. They came from a tree that was just an invasive species. We cut them all down to extend our garden space, and instead of burning off the sticks or taking them to the dump or whatever, we decided to turn them into a teepee. And it looks really cool. It gives the garden a little bit of drama, and it's got support. It's going to be support for our beans, which are all along the bottom of this teepee. So the idea is to grow all the beans up the teepee and have a nice big green teepee eventually. So we quite like this one. This container here was from a hardware, a truck manufacturing company, and all the big truck parts come in these crates, and they just dispose them at the end of the day, and we kept them. And here's another example of my trellising out of the sticks that we kept. I got all my cucumbers in there and they'll trellis up those. But yeah, I got that completely free. I got 2 of those, along with a few pallets and stuff like that. Like they were just going out to be thrown away, so we flipped them and turned them into garden beds. It was totally free. So, you know, recycle. That's what we do in our garden, and it's working for us. I have a bunch of tires that were given to me as, you know, to recycle and repurpose. Now, I personally won't grow food in tires. That's just, you know, I know people like to line them and do that, but I'm using these for dahlias and carnations and stuff like that, just to give our garden a bit of a brighter pop. But recycled tires. And we have containers, you know, just ones that have chips and cracks and things missing out of them, and we've sprung all our seedlings in these types of containers. It's worked really well for us. Soon they'll be transplanted out and I'll reuse the container again. And that's it. It's just a few holes drilled into the bottom and it's good to go. This is like an old cake lid that I think we lost the base for, so we ended up just drilling some pots in it and drilling some holes into it. And there's another one of those drawers from earlier in the video. Pretty much you can see we just got some flowers in there. I like to use grow bags too. They're very cheap and everything loves to grow in a grow bag. Like this passion fruit is just going bananas in there. It's just getting bigger and bigger. Just off to the left of that, there's another one of those crates from the trucking company. And it's growing really well too. And I've got another grow bag just in the back there, if you can see that. That one's got a custard apple tree in it. So they support quite big plants, these grow bags. And I think they're really handy to have if you don't have a huge budget. They work just as well. And you can recycle them because they've lasted a long time. And I don't see them giving up anytime soon. And indoors here, I grow my seedlings. So instead of, you know, spending big amounts of money on seedling trays and stuff like that, I just use old cake boxes and fruit punnets and stuff like that from the grocery store. Instead of putting them in the recycling bin, we just grow our seedlings and then we put some tiny holes in there and put the lid on, and you got a little mini greenhouse ready to go out into the garden. So my garden pretty much, it has a lot of food out there, but it would cost me a couple $100, and that was mainly just on soil and my seeds. But everything else has been recycled and repurposed, and that's what we love to do here at the Sow on the Low homestead, and it's working well for us. So don't feel like you have to spend a big amount of money to get your garden booming, because you can do just about anything if you can drill some holes in it, as long as it's food safe, obviously. But yeah, hopefully you guys feel inspired by this, and feel free to like and follow and see what else we're doing over here.